James Clerk School was designed by J.A. Carfrae and constructed between 1913 and 1919. Until 1972, it functioned as a junior secondary school. Due, however, to the declining number of pupils in the area arising from property closures and demolitions, its remaining 300 to 400 pupils were transferred in 1972 to Boroughmuir High School. Looking through the old classrooms and corridors today, you can still sense what it must have been like to be a pupil here. The work being done here now will transform the inside of this old school and leave only the outside walls as a reminder of what was once a popular and a highly thought of school.
Well, the headmaster that was there when Sandra was there, when it was the parent teachers night, he always brought out his slides that he took the views, and he says there's not another school in the world has a view like this, never.
Before the school completely disappears, we felt it would be interesting to make this film, interviewing ex-pupils and finding out about what life was like as a pupil of Jimmy Clark's.
About the teachers, I mean, the right old school discipline and everything. I mean, it was really strict. You had to toe the line. And when we used to be changing periods and going along the balconies, if any of your friends were passing, if you stopped, get on there, bang, you know, you weren't supposed to, you were just all supposed to pass and not say anything.
Because if you said the wrong word to him, he had a pointer and it was bigger than him, and he just sat at his desk and he clashed it like that. Whether he got you on the head or shoulders or anything, you got walloped with him. And we were terrified of our teachers. I mean, not like the youngsters today. I mean, we never looked sideways at it. We made a fool of them. And they weren't along and lifting the belts, I can assure you. And of course, if you came home and told my mother that you got the belt, you got another year for getting the belt. And then we used to go to the school house for domestic. You know, when you got
a house, right?
And you got to bath the baby, which was a doll, and you got all the housework to do.
We were there for a full week, and we stayed maybe 2 nights, you know, with the house mistress, you know. Helped her to make breakfast in the morning. Made all the dinner for everybody. There was about maybe 14 of us all there, you know, one day. And it was a nice house. Used to all do the windows, everything.
We learned to be a housewife. You know? But your young ones nowadays are never taught.
And some of us were the messages, so that was the best job of you know. Used to go with Galliman. But it was good. James Clark's was really a good school.
Well, we started school at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
And it was one thing, we were never late. You got a playtime about 10:30, 11:15. But it was just for about 10 minutes. And then
you all had to be in your line dead on 9, you know. I mean, any stragglers, you know.
Oh, you got the belt if you were late. Unless you had a letter for your mother saying, you know, there was an excuse. And we had our dinner time. Of course, we went home. We weren't allowed to go to dinners. My mother couldn't afford to send us.
We all went to your individual classrooms, and then the register was taken. But there was always a girl, what do you call
Prefect.
It? Prefect, in the class.
And if you did anything wrong, she shocked you.
You had an under prefect and the top one, you know. And then if you did anything wrong, he reported you too, so you had to keep up with the prefect. Here, half your sweeties into that, you know. So,
now, you were never allowed to run about in James Clark's. You walked. That was one thing you were learned. Because if you didn't, you were taken to the headmasters and strapped.
Especially the balconies, remember? When we were going to gym, we used to dive along there, you know, and into the, get all changed into our navy knickers. With the wee pockets, and we used to keep our money in. The boys used to all go. You weren't all involved in it.
Margaret Clark was a cleaner at the school for 30 years, and she told us this story about one morning when she was cleaning the stairs.
3 wee ducks come up from the mother, and proudly they walked into the big school, up all the steps. So Mr. Irvin was living at the time, and he says to me, Margaret, don't touch them, don't say nothing. So we phoned up the SSPCA and see about them, and he says, don't touch them, because if he says, once you speak to them, the mother would abandon them. And she would never, well, they got down all the steps and looked right over and into Sir Margaret's Loch, and the wee ones all tripped at the back. You know, it was really amazing to see it all.
I asked Margaret if she could remember any of the staff who were at the school when she worked there.
James Clark's annex, which is knocked down now,
There's one on the other side.
one on the other side. And it was Mr. Begg that was the janitor there. And Mr. Scott, he was the headmaster, which was then taken over by Mr. Jack, Mr. Drummond, Mr. Paul of Curry, and then Mr. Aiken, the deputy. He was a joinery teacher but took over from there.
Mr. Passetti, who owns a delicatessen in East Cross Causeway, was the technical dux at the school in 1956.
You know, one teacher was a bulletproof sergeant, and he was a hard case, but when you got to know him, a hell of a nice lad, very helpful. It was known to have good technical backup, good workshops, and as I said, technical ducks, all manner of workshops and technical skills were applied in there. Yes, it had a good name at the time.
The school had three main streams. Mr. Passetti had been in the technical side, whilst the Duffs were on the domestic course.
Well, there was domestic and
Commercial.
Commercial, you know. You were in for commercial, too.
I was in for commercial because I passed my qualifying. I was clever. And after I was a year in commercial, and my mother went up to the school because I was going to start and stay off the school. I just didn't like the teachers that were in the commercial, and I got changed to domestic.
Miss Walker she was a right old teacher there.
They were all old
she was
teachers. We had
very-
no young teachers.
She had been there like for years, you know. That was the main register teacher, you know.
But we never had any young teachers. We're all elderly, you know.
Well, I mean, it had nothing to do with James Clark's, but when my son and Sandra went to Preston Street, they were being taught by a teacher that taught me at back primary, Miss Morrison. I mean, I couldn't believe it, that she was still teaching. Couldn't believe it.
Miss Dingwall, she was the music teacher, and she married Mr. Bell. He was the headmaster of one of the schools. And Mr. Dingley, he was a music teacher. He was there. And then there was a Mr. Bethune. He was one of the woodwork, metalwork teachers, you know. They were quite nice. They were there up in years, you know. But they were quite a nice class of teachers that was here. And Mr. Thomas. But Harry Hampton was a bit of a character, you know.
Was he?
He was an awful man. But it was good fun, you know. His back was worse than his bite. You understand? He would do good turns to the boys, but the boys thought he was terrible, you know. They just used to call him Harry. They never thought nothing about it, you know. But he was really good with the children. And I mean, he helped a lot of them. Remember one wee boy said to them, if you got a collar and tie on, he says, I'll take you and get a job for you. And he took him down to Watterson's printers and composers, but that boy never stuck it. And I think it hurted him at the time, you know. I think he thought it would make something of him. When Miss Dingwall used to play the piano, she used to open the door, so the old people on the other side, the Skyboat song, and they used to enjoy that, you know. Used to feel that it gave them a wee bit happiness round about, you know, to say, I hope she opens the door today. I used to say, forgotten the door open today. Yes, the doors are opened. And she did, she done that for them, you know.
Brown Street. There was houses down there. The next street was Salisbury Street. There was houses there. And there was great big gardens in the centre where they used to have concerts in the summer, brass bands, dancers.
Yeah,
There used to
right.
be all these houses in St Leonard's Hill at the side of the youth centre, and you used to go through one of the stairs, and then you went up a flight of stairs, out another flight, and then there was a row of houses at the back. I mean, certainly, I feel all this knocking down, well, I feel a lot of the houses could have been renovated, same as how they did up Nicholson Street. But nobody ever thought that Nicholson Street would be renovated.
Never closed that washhouse.
No, no. Well,
Because there's many an old people in this district could have done with that washhouse. I think that was an awful mistake,
it was,
close that washhouse.
it was well patronised. It was well patronised, right enough.
There's a
Washhouse.
police station in the road as well, isn't there?
That police station is where the Deaconess door is now.
Where that Deaconess door is, that big door, that used to be the police station. Then they closed it. And behind that, there used to be another building next to the Deaconess here. And there was a close where you went down, and the prison cells was at the bottom of there. You could walk down and look at the people, inside the cells. It was just iron gates, that's all it was. And you used to hear them, that there were drunks getting picked up and put in that cell. You could stand at the top of their bed and hear them screaming their heads off to get out.
We stayed in Brown Street.
No. Find there used to be the roll shop in the corner. Was it there, Susan, when you were
Aye.
there? And we used to run down there
Used
and
to
get
get
rice
a
and buns and
And
then we're late again and we're caught in the roll shop. That was it,
And it was, in fact, there was a wee shop, Granny Slater, and at Christmas time we used to save up pennies, and we used to go along to Granny Slater, maybe get our calendar, and these things. And then there was Mary, what was her name? She had the wee baker's shop, Mary Campbell, and we used to go along there. Then there was Backwood, the wee baker, that was next to that. There was Delworth, the grocer.
The south side has changed a great deal over the years. Many of the old shops and buildings have now been demolished, living on only in the memories of people like Margaret Clark, Linda Femister, Susan and Georgina Duff, and no doubt many more. This is a view over what was once Forbes Street, now a waste ground and car park. From East Cross Causeway, today you can look out over the school to the slopes of Arthur's Seat, but some people remember it when it looked very different.
We gave our youth from James Clark School with pride, not without pain. Some gave their lives in sacrifice, peace in the world to gain. To those who've gone, oh let us build an edifice of fame and keep the lamp of memory within the school of flame. We who are bound by memory's ties do honour to their name. We pray that God may bless their homes and their dear ones sustain.
Chrissy Brown and Jock Jeffrey told us about some of the old characters who used to live in the south side.
Taking straight cuts in. And she stayed just across there, right opposite the Deaconess. There used to be a big high building, And if you wanted a cat taken away, you'd only go and ask for Miss Stirling was her name. The nickname she got was Catty Annie.
That's right, she's flighted from here to Easter.
And she stayed in the top flat. And you could go in that house, and she had all these cats named after royalty. That's true. And she went out every night, putting fish down for the cats in the streets. Just down there, up this side of Weakness and Cregan.
How many people today can remember Catiani? And what about the Midnight Coalman?
Just the wreck of the
The
call.
midnight Coleman.
You could get back a call from at 12 o'clock at night. And used to go down Arthur Street, like that.
After the First World War, they put their gratuities together and the two brothers started a coal business. They used to call them the midnight Coleman.
You could get a bag of coal any time from him. That's what it was. That's what was nicknamed that.
And it was on tick. Your mother paid it at the end of the week.
Paid at the end of the week. That's what they used to do.
Nights
That's
back
right.
then.
Used to pay at the end of the week.
Somebody
You know,
was somebody in another
And you never locked your door.
Uh-huh.
I mean, your door was always open. But then you trusted your neighbours in these days. Southside was a good place to live in. I mean, they were more friendly and everything, but nowadays everybody's out for working and can't talk myself, I'm working myself.
Just memories. Pleasant memories, but taking it back over the ages. This day and age, very unpleasant memories.
Changed a lot, has it?
It has changed. People have changed. Not so much, the area has changed a terrible lot. And people have changed.
Some had toilets inside and others didn't. Maybe about 3 families sharing.
That's where the, what was it, the penny block?
Penny tenement right at the corner,
It fell down.
fell down. And then there was another block at the top of where the Deaconess outpatient is, across the road from there on the corner. That whole gable end fell down there as well.
Did it?
People were sitting at their tea and bolting just right down. We were sitting here, we heard it, we thought it was thunder. So I used to stay in the house underneath.
Underneath this one.
Well, before they were all modernised.
Modernisation is what the workmen are doing now. The classrooms are disappearing and James Clark's will become the home for many other generations of Southsiders. What was once a playground will become a car park, and what was once a classroom, a home.
the right old school.
My first job was in Blair's, the big drapery shop in the Bridges, do you remember it? Well, I worked here and he came in, of course, the first job I was in the haberdashery, selling ribbons and that. And he came in and the first thing came out, he had a big moustache. Well, Susan, I know how are you getting on at your job and what's your wages? I say 11 and 8 pence a week. 11 and 8, that was my first wage. And I wasn't earning that much when I left to get married. I think I was only earning about £3 something when I got married.
Oh, that's hard work. But these days you didn't get many holidays, you know.
Your memories of those days are very good memories when you think back to them.
They were good days, they were happy days, you know what I mean? They were hard work.
Today, young unemployed men work hard to restore what will probably be the only remaining items from the school. These benches will be placed outside the new community centre